Hi everyone. Hi Gautam. Good to see you. So we've called this session Swiping the Future, the Digital Edge. Let me start with asking you, is anyone really swiping?
We do. We have about 30% people still swiping, actually.
Yeah. I thought it's usually just, UPI, largely QR codes, maybe in some places cash, of course, outside the cities, much more cash. I want to start this conversation really there. And earlier in the day, you would have heard from Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav about how India's digital payments infrastructure has become the standard and the trademark for so many nations to adopt, including nations which are supposed to be much richer than us. I want to start there. As someone who is in the industry and lives, breathes this financial system, how do you see where India is right now and the innovation that we take for granted? I mean, no one thinks twice, right, before making a payment on a QR code for $10 at your door. But there's a lot that has happened to achieve that. Let's start there.
So yes, I think India is, I would say, undoubtedly the most advanced payments ecosystem in the world today. The Prime Minister talked about the fact that 50% of the world's digital payments are happening out of India, which is a true number. We've seen various numbers. The numbers have been growing. Despite everything that we talk about, I would say whatever you hear is still just the beginning. If you actually look at the potential of India, the 150 to 200 billion transactions that people are talking about that we're doing on an annual basis, in my opinion, is still a very small number compared to the potential. And the reason I say that is there are about 350 million consumers that are active on digital payments in this country, but there are about 900 million people that are actually participating in the economy of this country, buying or selling something on a daily basis, of which only 350 are using some form of digital payment, be it UPI, be it cards. So given that, and given that we already are the world's largest digital payment ecosystem in the world, there's a lot that has happened. And the credit, of course, here goes to, we've talked about many things, jam, innovation. Really, the way, at least we look at it, Mastercard, three things that have made it happen. One is the fact that we have innovators in this country that have come together, right? Both global innovators such as ourselves and local innovators. Two, probably the most progressive regulator in the country, which is what we have in India. From all the regulators I have seen, and I work with Mastercard in a few countries, we have the most progressive regulator in terms of the innovation that they are driving. We are the world's only country that is fully tokenized as far as card transactions are concerned for online transactions. We're the world's only country that is driving for a full tokenization of offline transactions as well. I know these are some geeky terms here I'm using, but that is a huge, huge development compared to many other countries. So that's number two, the fact that we're a really positive regulator. And the third thing, of course, we do have this collaborative mindset. I'm sure a lot of you know about this event that happened in Mumbai last week called GFF, Global FinTech Festival, largest of its kind now in the world. And I was telling somebody there, if you looked around and looked at all the companies that were there, including Mastercard, they're all companies that we are in some form competing, but they're all companies where we were also cooperating with, we were partnering with. We announced 30 partnerships, last week with 30 odd, companies. But we're also competing with them. So there is this cooperation that is going on in the ecosystem that is unique. So I think the blend of those three have really made India the leading digital payments player in the world, in my opinion.
May I suggest that the reason why all payment companies cooperate is because they have one aim, to make people spend more.
I hope my wife is not listening to this, but yes, I wouldn't say that. I think what we want is we want people to be more aware of what they're spending, how they're spending, the ability. See, if you were in the cash economy that we were all used to, our mothers did it, our fathers did it, they wouldn't know how they're spending. They wouldn't know what their spend patterns were. They'd say, okay, back in the day, 10,000, 20,000, whatever your household budget was, you would know what your household budget was, but you couldn't really break it down as to where are you spending. Today, what digital payment allows you to do, it gets a lot smarter. Whatever form, you can go see the history of your payment. Yes, if you did not have cash in your pocket back in the day, you couldn't go buy something, but you can now do that. You don't need to have cash in your pocket. So yes, there's an argument to be made that maybe it has made the ease of buying things, easier. So therefore, you could potentially spend more. But I think on the flip side, it has also allowed you to track your spend, understand your spend better, and therefore maybe be smarter about your spend. And then, of course, what has emerged, the ecosystem of commerce players that have emerged, whether it's the traditional e-commerce players or the Zeptos and the Blinkits of the world today, there is some impulsive buying, but I think they're all making us smarter at some point. So I don't have data to say whether we are spending more, but my gut, as somebody who's who watches his own spend, I would say we're probably evening it out right now.
Yeah, no, but there are a lot of studies which show that the thing with digital money is that in your cognizance of how much you're spending is less because it's just so easy. On the other hand, like you said, you can actually go ahead and track it. My question is, what is the future of money looking like? And as Mastercard, how do you see it? Like I said, when we started this, are people even swiping? So physical cards, and a lot of millennials, Gen Z users, are they finding the use of a card as a matter of prestige? There was a time when a credit card was also, a symbol of prestige. Are they seeing it that way? Has the idea of what money looks like completely changed, and how do you see it?
So see, the idea of what a card would look like in the future, it's anybody's guess. I would agree that the card, the form that we know today, plastic, probably won't exist in the very near future, right?
Really?
Yeah, it won't exist in the form of plastic. I still carry a plastic card because I'm still old school, but between tap and pay that we have in the cards world, pretty much you can tokenize your cards, you can digitize your cards on your phone, on a device, on a wearable, on a ring, on a bracelet, and especially now with a lot of foreign companies also coming to India, I don't see a reason why somebody would need to carry a physical card. Now, I carry it simply because I'm saying, agar mera phone ka charge khatam ho gaya, then what, right? So I carry it for that reason, and that is true for UPI also. Your app won't work if your phone is dead, right? So I don't think the card will exist in the physical plastic form, but it will take a digital shape in some form, which may be almost near subconscious. I look at this as it's not too far away in the future, where today the act of payment that we do is a very conscious effort. You go to a shop, you scan a QR, you tap, if you're using cards, you swipe still, some people do, and it's a very conscious activity that somebody does. I think the future is that activity will be in your subconscious, much like the air that you breathe. You breathe air, you breathe it day in and day out, but you don't realize you're doing it. Right?
This is sounding like a Black Mirror episode.
No, it's not. It's not, absolutely not. This whole concept of agentic commerce, AI-enabled commerce, that's exactly what it's going to enable. What it is going to enable is you will have something that will be a form of identity. It could be your smile, it could be your biometric, it could be your body mass, it could be your, your blood metrics. Who knows in the future what would that look like? But today it is your retina scan, it is your fingerprint, it is something else. Smile is another one that people are talking about.
But Gautam, if every time I smile, I spend money, I'm going to have to stop smiling.
No, so I think there is, of course, a framework, right? So in our world, we talk about a framework of context, right? In what context are you, let's say, smiling? And therefore, is that the context? We'll identify, is it you, who you are? Do you have something that requires to be paid for? We'll have to create trust in the ecosystem. So I use a word called trust, which really has 3 pillars. It's convenience, it's safety, right? And it's also trust in the form where it's without any friction, right? We have been very focused as an industry on the safety aspect, on the convenience aspect, but the friction aspect is something that we've not really solved for. We talked about it backstage. Today, pretty much anything that we want to do in our lives, you require a second factor of authentication in the form of an OTP. I'm sure half of us don't want to get another OTP SMS.
OTP se chutkara dilaiye.
Exactly. So that we are doing that thanks to the RBI again. In payments at least, we are doing that. We have this thing called the alternate authentication framework, which essentially replaces OTP. I won't say replaces, but augments companies to not use OTP, but use another form of authentication, which is biometrics. So in this case, passkeys is the term that we're using as an industry, where your biometric that is embedded on your phone, much like what you use your biometrics to unlock your phone, any phone today, the same biometric could be used to actually make a payment, right? And that would remove that friction aspect. But that is the early stage of this friction-free payment as I'm talking about. But there will be a day, and not too far from us, where you will walk in and walk out of stores where you wouldn't go through the conscious effort of paying. The system
Give
is
me
smart
a
enough.
for example of how all of these things fit in. You talked about non-plastic payments, including on devices. You talked about biometrics, including Smile. You talked about a subconscious autonomous payment. So in an everyday scenario, what does this actually look like?
So let's take them each one by one, right? So today, for those of us who are transacting out there, when you go to a shop, you buy something, and you either use a UPI QR, you actually make the physical payment, you pull out a card, you swipe your card, you can tap your card if you have tap enabled on your card or on your phone, and those are conscious actions that you are taking, and all of this is enabled with various levels of safety and security. And we, in Mastercard parlance, we actually authenticate you, where we confirm it is who you are, who you're saying you are, and then we authorize the transaction, saying, okay, this transaction is, let's, for 100 rupees. You're trying to do, yes, you know, Tamanna is who Tamanna is, and she's making a 100 rupee transaction from her credit card, and she actually has a credit line that has 100 rupees available, and let the transaction go through, and then, of course, the bank that you have the credit line against allows for the transaction to go through. So those are the motions that we go through. In a world where agentic commerce will come into play, where AI will come into play, there would be systems that will do exactly what we just described, where a system, an agent, will work on your behalf because your Smile will be registered somewhere. Again, I'm using Smile. I don't know what that would look like. It could be any biometric. It could be any form of biometric. Today, we are used to using a thumbprint or a face recognition that will be matched to some form of payment that is already allocated. You already assigned that whenever I'm making this up, whenever I'm buying something at, what's the store that you shop at the most? A physical store.
Okay, let me not take any names. Say
okay.
XYZ.
So let's say you go to some random store, right? And you would have set your system that, you know, every time I want my authentication, my biometric authentication to pay for something, use this certain form of payment, you know. Let's say I'm going to say use my Mastercard card, right? And as long as the transaction is less than 10,000 rupees, let it go through. Otherwise, ask me for something that will pose a question to me before the payment goes through. Now, you go to the same store in the future where there will be enough AI and technology and sensors that will be allowed in those around in that store, where when you go and you carry a shopping bag with goodies in it, and you walk out, that experience, and you walk out with your biometric getting scanned by all of these systems that are playing there, there will be agents in the background, digital agents, that will know it is you who you are, it will know what you bought, how much you bought it for, and it'll pay for you. You wouldn't even know that it happened, right?
But it is possibly going to go one step further, where an agentic AI support will also help you choose.
Absolutely.
And maybe regular purchases can just be automated.
So the way we are looking, so we are enabling agentic commerce in various forms. One of the things is in the online world, where, especially Indian consumers are always looking for a bargain or a deal, the agents would work on your behalf to know if you want to buy something. First of all, they'll be able to tell you that you need to buy this something, right? Let's say you're running out of milk, right? And you need to buy milk. But I'm not even going to go there. Let's say you're buying something and there's a better deal available for that something. The agent knows that deal is available somewhere else, not where you're buying. It'll work on your behalf to push you to buy it from some other place. I'm talking about an online store here, and you'll go buy there. Or if there's a coupon available or if there's a discount available in some form, the agent will work on your behalf, not only to tell you what to buy, when to buy, but where to buy it from. And how do you get the best deal out of it? In a world of, getting points and getting the best deal, that is how agentic commerce will work for you.
Wow. So someone is doing that work for you. Do you think Indians will adopt this? We like to choose. We like that mole bhav. And okay, if it's online, at least you like to, look at enough options.
So, I was in the US 4 months ago after a long period of time, and I had only heard of this driverless cars. I had not been on one. And I was very scared to sit in one. And when I saw one in front of me, the tech geek in me asked me to sit in one of these cars and experience it. It was a fantastic experience. I won't deny, I was a bit scared. I was a little unsure of it. I think we Indians are just like that. I think there is an element of education that the industry, the ecosystem has to do. We have to build the trust and make sure that we are comfortable doing it. I don't see any reason, particularly now more than ever, given how savvy we've become with our technology in India, I don't see any reason why Indians will not adopt it. It may be a little bit further away than many other countries, but from the innovation that we showcased and others showcased at GFF last week, I am pretty certain this is going to happen in our lifetime. It won't be happening when we are grandparents. It'll happen in our young age.
Oh, pretty soon. Well, here's to a future where maybe your smile or your blink tells you that you want to make purchases. Thank you so much, Gautam Aggarwal.
Thank you, Tamanna.
For that very innovative chat on what the future of money looks like. Thank you.